This goes out to you. This goes out to you.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Afternoons with me, my engineer, Paul Brumbaugh. Today, I have two guests with me. So let me start from where his lower third is missing. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right, I've got Colin from Canada and Engin. Oh my God, Engin, how do you say your last name?
Yeşilyemiş.
Like that. Okay, gentlemen, please, in whoever decides to introduce themselves, please introduce yourselves.
After you, sir.
Thank you. Colin from Canada. I'm a comedian. Just started doing this. That's pretty much all I got. Engin.
I'm Engin. I'm most of the time introduce myself as the exchange student, like immigrant. I'm living my American dream.
Is that right? But you've been here for I remember
20 years.
20 years. Yeah, it doesn't ever end, right?
No, never.
You're not like
Never.
I woke up from my dream.
Oh, just then you go find another one.
Yeah, that's true.
You go find another one.
Yo, so what's so funny is I've met both of y'all, but Colin, I think I just seen your name on the sign up list when I was at OMG, and I want to say that was like 3 weeks ago. So you just started doing stand up open mics.
Yeah, literally just found some open mics. Just started going into it. I wasn't even on the comedian like Bacon, the comedy network yet, and OMG was actually my first set ever. That was the first time going up.
So do you remember who hosted that night?
Oh my God.
Was it Brady, Ashley?
Ashley, it was Ashley.
Ashley,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Ashley's great.
Yes, that's my home girl.
Oh hell yeah.
And
She made cupcakes. Or
so that was her birth. Okay, anyways, yes. So that's awesome. And you haven't been discouraged yet.
Oh, I'm already burnt out.
You're already burnt out.
Yeah.
How many open mics have you hit? I mean, like you showed up.
That's it. Yeah, I'm a
Great attitude. Yeah.
definitely bipolar or something. That whole OMG phase, I was on my manic uprise, and then I was at the last open mic for some bar in Mission. I forget the name. It was like their last one ever, and I was just like
Slate.
Yeah, I was doing the last show at Slate Bar, and I was like halfway through my set, and I'm just like, what am I doing with my life? And I just like kind of died out on my set, and I went home, and it's been 2 weeks, and I've just been like, I say I'm restructuring, but in reality, I'm probably just depressed.
Well, okay, for one, Slate is a very hard mic to hit because you don't know how the room is gonna respond to your comedy. One, and it's a large room, so you're right smack in the middle, and there's like this big ass, like it's not even, you know what I mean? Were there hella people there?
Oh yeah, it was the last show, so it's like everyone there like knows each other, and it was like all comics, and like first of all, like doing a show before comics,
It's hard.
like
It's hard to make comics laugh.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
much harder to do that than civilians.
See, and then Engin, I met you at Barrel Proof.
Barrel Proof.
And I just remember you in your overalls, and then you had you had
I brought the hat. Still,
there you go.
I'm here.
To fit. I feel like it fits a profile. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I just have such a big head, and I make any hat look like a yarmulke.
Okay.
And then so buying this giant hat, when you put it on my head, it looks somewhat like my whole portion looks
balances you out.
Okay, I see.
Again, I don't have any mental illnesses. I am from Turkey. I'm just trying to survive in America. Thank you.
My mental illness is I'm a foreigner. Well,
I have a sense of fashion. God damn it.
No, okay. So I was born and raised here in San Francisco, California, by a Filipino mother, and her being Filipino from the Philippines, she raised me as though I was growing up in some province where I was supposed to like climb trees instead of like go out and have fun. So anyways, so that's what she did. She did for fun. She would climb mango trees for fun in where she grew up. But I wasn't that kid because I grew up in San Francisco, not in the
You were
Philippines.
city.
She was expecting a classic kind of like go down to the pond and
They're not
Yeah,
skip
trees,
some
they're
rocks.
fun.
or go wash your clothes by the river.
Fun.
Well, like everything that was fun in the Philippines growing up was like leisure. So you had a responsibility to make sure that the family was okay. And here I am, like this first American born, and
Getting very westernized.
God, yeah. So
Yeah,
it was-
my daughter is following your footsteps.
is it weird?
Yeah, she's an American.
I mean, like raising her.
But check this out. So February,
Mhm.
they did the Black History Month at school.
Mhm.
We're driving back. That's a real story. We're driving back from school, and she goes, "Dad, are you white?" I said, "No, baby." And then she goes, "So you're black?" I was like, "Okay, okay." And then I tried to describe her like we're at least like olive,
Yeah.
best.
Minorities.
Well,
Yeah.
Turkish that's Middle Eastern. Great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You're fine.
Here's the thing. I own a construction company, and when I go on a construction site, if I don't know anybody, white folk look at me and go, "He's not Mexican,"
Yeah.
and then Mexicans look at me and go, "He's not Mexican." And then I tell everyone I'm Turkish. Everybody relaxes because they have nowhere to put Turkey.
Really?
In. Yeah.
Oh
'cause
my gosh.
There's
they
no
don't have anything-
cultural
yeah,
footing
yeah,
for
yeah.
that in
Can I tell
California.
you
We're
some-
not on the news for anything to pick a side on either.
Engin.
Or are we? Am I missing it?
Can I? This is a horrible point of reference, but okay.
Go for it.
Being in the military, my first base was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany. And do you know what I learned about being around the Turkish people that were in the club?
No cologne.
The German Turks?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
They
I'm looking
carried
forward to this.
machetes.
Oh yeah, we'll cut you.
Okay, I know that's a hella
I thought-
wrong
I
thing,
thought-
but I'm not speaking from stereotype stories. I'm talking about stories that I've like,
Things you've seen.
yeah,
You lived
and I'm
it.
just like, oh my god.
What do you mean they're in the club with a machete? Like they have the little, like the satchel, they're the
See, that has
harness.
been the problem for me in this country because, like, I come for such an intense culture,
Uh-huh.
and I sugarcoat it as best as possible, and people still go, "Oh, your tone, your demeanor, Engin, you're scary."
Oh really?
Then
You
check
can't-
this out. I had this girlfriend. I had her watch this documentary about a Turkish soccer team director. Like he's world famous director. He's a legend in soccer. In the world of soccer, he's a legend internationally.
Uh-huh.
6 episodes. She watches the entire thing in Turkish with English subtitles.
Okay.
Thing ends. She looks at me and goes, "Babe, you are Turkish." I'm like, "Yeah. What do you mean?" Like she goes, "I thought this was your own crazy, but now after seeing this documentary,
Yep.
I see there's like a whole
Oh,
country
that's just who you are.
Yeah.
full of
That's your people.
people that will completely agree with everything you're doing." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a place called Turkey. I'm not crazy. Like
Ooh,
we
I have-
behave like that."
I have a secret. I moved to Texas, and it turns out that Texas is so the love of Texas is so persistent, like the way that they start their classes, the way that they learn their lessons, that they are so I guess what is this, devout to their state.
Yeah,
They're hella
yeah, they're
proud.
Texans.
Yes,
They're
hella
Texas and they love
Texan.
it. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be a country. It can just be a
Oh yeah,
state.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
a belonging. We
Yeah.
kill each
Even,
other for the wrong soccer scarf.
Oh my gosh. You're talking about
That's not.
you're
That's
talking
not
about,
like.
oh my God,
That's
yeah.
not a like uncommon thing. Like what was happening. Whatever you heard from Turkey, like any riots or any bombings. And then a friend goes, "Engin, what's going on in Turkey?" I'm like, "Turkey's going on in Turkey."
Yeah, that's what
That's
goes
every
on in
day.
Turkey.
That's just Turkey.
This is the one you're hearing. So like,
That's why I thought it was funny when you were like, they.
we're a content creator. That's what we do.
So, Engin, how long you been doing comedy?
Oh, I started in 2018 at a dive bar called Spanky's in Katati, California.
Katati. It's
Yes.
Is Spanky still around?
Spanky's is still around. They canceled us because we were going against the lesbian pool
2018.
pool league.
Oh yeah, and, well,
And-
they actually have money.
They had priority.
Like my jokes bombed, but there were some crazy people going up on that stage and saying crazy things too.
Good venue.
Sounds like you got spanked.
Oh, we did. We did.
Colin, when
Shout out to Spanky stuff.
I can't make eye contact.
Colin, when did you decide that you wanted to start? Because I'm pretty sure it didn't just start 3 weeks ago. You had to have known that you wanted
What
to do.
pushed you over the edge?
Yeah,
What
like
pushed me over the edge? Fucking hell. It's something that's always been surrounding me. I grew up with I didn't grow up with fuck, what's his name?
Dad.
Indian comedian from Canada. I can't think of his name. Fuck.
It's okay.
Russell Peters.
Russell Peters. Thank you so much. Yeah, I grew up on love Russell Peters, love Norm Macdonald, pretty much anyone Canadian. Bruce McCullough, Dave Foley, like all the kids in the hall. I was always surrounded by comedy, and I've thrown everything at the wall in my life. You know, I've done demolition, I've done roofing,
go.
I've done
Handyman.
dabbled in animation, IT. I've done literally everything, and like comedy is the only thing that like I can think back to in my life where it's like
that's such a wide
making people laugh and shit in
array
classes.
of skills, from technical skills to
Most comics are Renaissance people, though.
I think so. I think so. That's
Like they have so many.
It-
They have depth to them if they're funny.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. That's
Qualify that.
Hang
That's
on.
the asterisk.
the hardest thing I think for you, Colin, being you're 25 years old, so you have 25 years of experience, and then you got us. I'm like, because I'm a level 45. I have 45 years of experience, and I'm a veteran. I have so much like under my belt that I could talk about, but you have to come up with shit.
That's what I'm hoping to have the same career path as Larry David because he only got funnier as he got older.
Is it right, Larry David? I'm trying.
So was it
Curb Your
based
Enthusiasm.
on life experience?
Oh, entirely, yeah.
I don't give much comedy advice in my life, but in this journey, I would advise you not to fuck a lot to create stories.
Oh,
You don't have to.
that's gonna be a problem. Can we swear? Can we work blue?
For the sake of
Hey,
Don't worry, we'll
stories.
take care of it in post.
Okay.
And again, just because that's your experience doesn't mean that's gonna be. But I get it.
That's what I'm saying,
You're
like-
like young man.
Yeah, young man.
Don't be
Young
misled.
grad.
If I could somehow suppress
It's
my
crazy out in the wild.
no, honestly, if I could suppress my libido, I'd be a billionaire by now. But
Oh my god.
Oh no,
I
it's
only-
impossible. It's
it really is. It really
You
is.
know what you have to physically do is like
Chop it off.
That's it. That's the only.
Get rid of it.
No,
Yeah.
You have to distract yourself. You have to distract yourself.
That's
You
honestly
have
what
to
do
place
I-
importance in other things.
It doesn't work.
It does.
No, it does because
It
I've been
does,
doing comedy
but
now.
You don't want to.
No, watch this.
Idle hands.
Watch this. I own a painting company. I'm a director of a salsa orchestra in salsa in Santa Rosa. I'm operating partner with the comedy IRL production. That's
Hell.
when we put together
In
the
real life,
shows and whatnot. I go up on comedy on the side. I'm raising an 8-year-old daughter, and I still find time to jerk off.
I mean, that's
Priorities, my man.
That's what I'm
Priorities.
saying.
you know that's.
I was waiting
that's
for. I was
amazing.
waiting for the.
The corny dad
That's
joke line.
amazing.
Thanks. I can't look at you anymore.
Oh wait, okay. Tell me this. Tell me this. Do you, as a single father, are you raising her single-handedly, or are you splitting
Oh no,
time
no.
with?
I have an amazing relationship with my.
Well, you're
mama.
Turkish,
It's
so you
just-
have like a harem to take care of.
No, no,
Oh my god.
no. But
A
no,
harem.
we're doing 50-50,
Oh, that's amazing.
and it's going great. And we went to the what do you call it? The parent
Teacher.
teacher
interviews?
conference thing. We sat down. My academic career is a disaster. I gave gray hairs to my parents throughout the whole experience. So I go there. I'm waiting, just like, all right, what are we gonna hear? Because when she first started, she didn't take. The reading was a little difficult at the beginning. She's reading fine right now,
As
but
an
at the
8-year-old.
beginning, and I'm gonna be
Was,
like,
was she an English second language or?
no. She's
first-
full
Oh,
on.
I guess she was born
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay.
If she spoke Turkish, it'd be Turkish as her would have been her second language.
Right. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no worries. So, the teacher goes, you know what? We don't see it in her that she comes. We can't tell
Oh,
how
gosh,
she
they're
comes
gonna-
from.
like from a broken home.
Right.
Yeah, they're not. They were assuming that a broken home looks like a broken home rather than
Well,
something
they have
that's
also
intact.
other examples that's going to school with
God, I
Athena
can
too.
only
So there's
imagine.
like all.
There
And,
are homes that are not broken that are messed
oh,
up.
tell me about
Mhm.
it. I'm a former school counselor. I'm a school
Oh.
counselor by trade. That's what I went to school for and all that stuff.
What grade?
In Turkey, I was the head of a school counselor situation for an international German school in
how-
Turkey.
It's weird German
So
connection.
it was a K-12,
Okay, through 12.
and
Okay.
then I was overseeing the entire program. That was fun.
I really wanted to go into counseling when I was in high school because I admired like how the counselor could give good advice, and a lot of us need great
Your
advice.
counselor did.
Well,
Yeah, not my.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but my older sister used to call them dream crushers.
oh,
You can't be that. Can't be
They're
that.
just
You
like
must be a
tool and die.
doctor.
but I think for that very reason, I wanted to be a better counselor to everybody else, kind of encourage them. But the truth is, people are miserable, and when I'm in my misery,
People are
I'm not very nice either. So I get how people can crush dreams just by
They're like, just fucking do tool and die.
accidentally crushing dreams. But so dang, that's my ADHD too. Dude, we were talking about being canceled earlier, kind of just mentioning
Oh,
like
yeah,
saying
yeah.
the wrong thing. I feel like Colin, you're hella young. Do you ever worry about saying the wrong thing to old people? Because old people hella worry about saying the wrong thing to young people.
No, I love saying the things to old people because they can shoot the shit. They understand. It's like there's a line between comedy or whatever. If anything, coming from Canada, all you hear about America is like, oh, crazy left or the crazy right. Like it's just two extreme sides of the political
Is that
spectrum.
your Canadian accent?
Oh, fucking either, bud. But actually, coming to California, you know, it's not what you see in the media. People are a lot more chill, and there is a lot more nuance than what you might see on TV, like walking on eggshells and stuff. Like with that said, whatever you feel about like being worried about the youth in California, it is so much fucking worse in Canada. Like you will
Oh
be,
my
they will seize your bank account and like throw you in prison for just like it's.
Oh yeah, you were talking about like, okay, so there's a new policy you mentioned in Canada that people are being held accountable, responsible for their previous posts going back to whatever, however long ago.
Yeah, so I took a passing glance at it. There's a new bill. I don't even know if it got passed. Hopefully it won't. But essentially, any posts you made in the past or present can be used against you in the court of law under the guise of hate speech. But it's a very
Hate speech.
it's a very ambiguous like definition of what hate speech is. So you could just say like an example, and then they could take that. And I don't want to be
Broccoli.
exactly. And they'll be like, "How dare you not even acknowledge broccoli amongst cauliflower?"
Turkey has an insult law.
An insult.
Oh, that's
law.
ridiculous. No, that's
You
fucking
know what I
draconian.
mean?
That's
So
draconian.
If you insult and you prove the insult,
If you were
there
offended.
are consequences. Now, if
Prison
you're
time?
Wait, if you prove the insult,
Right.
You mean if?
'Cause,
Oh,
like-
you mean they
like-
prove that they insulted you, or prove that the insult was correct?
Because there's
well,
slander
all-
laws.
all the above, I think. And then something happens, the law kicks in. And if an adult insults a minor, it's a much bigger.
No.
Oh, you got no. It
And
should be.
then-
It should be the
and
opposite.
then if you talk shit about the government,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
there's
Ah,
a
that-
clause for that, and that came with all that insult law. And
Isn't that
a lot of people are
treason?
sitting in
some
jail
ways.
Yeah.
just for talking.
No, it's fucking. It's
Talking about the government is treason, and I remember when treason was like against the law here. I think it's frowned upon, but at some point when I was younger, back in the 80s, I remember when it was disrespectful to wear uh, an American flag as a clothing.
That's why you got
Let alone
featured.
a-
I heard that's like
Beanie.
in the Constitution or something. Like it is against the law. Some
Yeah.
old.
Well, there's proper treatment of the American flag, and it's just gone to nothing. And but I'm okay. People can do whatever they want to do. I know this much. When I was running my mile and a half that I had to do for physical training when I was in the military, I looked at that flag as motivation to do my mile and a half or whatever I had to do. I think it was 2 miles. Shit. I was
This is a
not athletic
country.
at all.
Ultimately,
This is a
like
country, this is not bad.
that's what I'm saying. Like it can be. I'll say like I do get frustrated when I see people doing the mashed potatoes on top of the American flag or whatever, or wiping their ass with it. But ultimately, like compared to living in a country where they'll fucking kill you for doing that to their flag. Like, I think this is a fair trade.
I
It's
know,
like,
right?
I'd rather have people doing their free dance and shitting on a flag than
Well,
being
Getting
publicly
thrown.
executed.
Yeah,
so speaking
publicly
truth to power is
executed.
a great thing, but I think a lot of things, civility went out. I mean, it's always been okay. I'm a product of the 60s, child of the 70s. And when in the 70s growing up, a lot of adults didn't talk about religion or politics. It was just bad.
I heard there was like the three things: religion, politics, and money. You don't talk about
Or
dinner
what's
table.
going on in your bedroom.
Oh.
Like, you didn't have to share it
gonna
if you
say
didn't
sports.
want to. I mean, they were always saying, the government needs to stay out of my bedroom, like Roe versus Wade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I understand that. But somewhere around 2016-ish, a lot of things went out. I mean, before 2016, if you were to say something bad about a U.S. president, like I'm going to shoot him or something, there would be Secret Service at your door. Or I always thought there would be Secret Service at your door. You always thought.
Put
and
on a
then-
list.
There was
Well,
like
they made an
series-
example out of that comedian lady.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's where I was going with this.
When
is
Trump
Kathy Griffin.
beheaded,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, but you got to think of everything that happened before that and what that politician was doing and is up to now. I mean, holy smokes! And again, we're not talking politics.
No, you're absolutely
mean,
fine.
Not to
civility, I
defend
guess.
Trump. No.
I think if any country, America, there is at least a precedent to watch out for people that make threats against their politicians. JFK alone. I mean, if they don't like you in this country, they don't vote you out. Like, they'll take care of it.
Here's what I think. Okay, when they put a person, the president, in a place of power, that's a lot.
If you're
That's
bothering
a lot.
people, they're gonna come and take you.
I think ultimately, if they should, okay, again, I'm not trying to get political, but if they don't represent the people, what are they doing? Get them out.
Okay, again, that a lot of responsibility falls on one person who takes on the presidency. So with that in mind, I will tell you this, especially having been like prior military, I'm going to always respect the fact that, that there's a process and then it's what it is. It's never going to be perfect, but I just have to, you know what I mean?
But the system, like, you also witnessed the system working, and then you looked at other people's systems while you were living in the military. So then you're like, oh,
I joined while President Bush was the first Bush.
Dad Bush.
Okay, and then
Senior.
Senior.
Clinton became president, and then I
They
felt
say
the
he's
shift.
black. Is that true?
I felt the shift in the military and how
Help the tourist out.
the care and concern went to the military. So all I can say is that everybody's gonna have their own opinion based on where they are in when things happen. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I'm saying that when I was in the military, I felt the difference of a Republican Party and a Democratic Party. No argument. I just know it's just there. So anyways, that's not even where I want to go with. Let's talk about comedy. not
Let's
this
talk about
stuff.
comedy.
And then you said you're
Wait,
from-
this isn't a political podcast?
No.
And
But it's kind of, it goes back to all of what you were saying about that law now in Canada. Do we all have to worry about what we talk about and where our feet are standing on this earth when we're saying
It's not. If I don't think this is what happens.
That's the only thing I want to know.
It's not that you worry about what you're going to talk about, because there are things I talk about with my close friends.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
These microphones would melt. The topics we cover, but we know not to do it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So they're creating that by law. You're going to be uncomfortable about who you are speaking with.
Yeah.
The ultimate problem
It's
is
not
that
a matter of holding your tongue. It's a good way to separate communities and people.
divide and conquer.
I mean,
Ultimately,
Right, you
though,
don't drop F-bombs at your day job.
for sure, yeah.
Right.
There's always been that kind of like they'll,
well,
you don't
say
want to
that
represent the
in front of
company.
your child. Of course.
Sure.
yeah.
The problem though is that
Construct
it's
the
the
universe.
problem is that it's set a precedent for things you said in the past. So you can still face jail time for things you said 10 years ago where you're a completely different
say
person.
some horrible
You might not
shit.
even believe in it anymore.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah,
you did
no.
believe in it, who cares? Because it's
There's shit
online.
that I said last week that I don't believe in.
That's
I'm
right.
just saying,
You could
like,
face prison time now.
It's-
Time.
in
It's
Canada.
like saying you're not
In
allowed
Canada.
to make mistakes.
That sucks. man.
Exactly. You have to be infallible.
Read up on Turkish history, like recent history from like 1920 to today. Like a book I can recommend is, I think it's called Crescent and the Star. some.
Not to sound uneducated, but was the Arab Spring, was that around Turkey? Because I've seen photos of like, I think it was Pakistan before
If it's
the Islamic
Arab,
Revolution.
it was in Turkey too. Yeah, we're all.
Because there's photos of like Pakistan from like the 70s, and it looks like SoCal.
Oh my god.
Like they had bell bottoms and cars, and
Oh, totally.
that's what I'm saying. Like
yeah,
there was,
yeah.
Totally. Yeah,
is that what you're getting at?
The,
or?
the Western culture has influenced.
No, what you're
many
gonna read is
countries.
like, so there's this whole concept of capitalism, right? Is it good? Is it bad? Who cares? When capitalism happened to Turkey, which is like after 1986.
Reagan? Is that Reagan?
It's about it's Reagan.
It happened around that time, and then everything that America has experienced since Civil War to today happened since 1986 to today.
Oh,
in
just
Turkey.
condensed in those.
Oh, it's just like
they're speed running it.
and when things happen in America, I look at it and I'm like, I've seen this movie in Turkish before. Because we already rehearsed and like it didn't work. Watch the first female president US is gonna have. US is going to have the worst, most disastrous
It's gonna be riots and
thing will happen, and then because that's exactly what happened in Turkey when we had a female president.
Well, okay,
The
so
worst economical crisis took place in her time. So if I know men at all, they make sure when a lady is a president of this country, they're gonna make sure her shit goes fucked up.
the problem is that like she might not even have
Prepare yourselves,
the-
hold your ankles, whatever you need.
the problem
to
the
do.
problem is that it might not even have been that Turkish woman's precedence that brought into that economic turmoil. Like that could have been something you inherited or whatever.
You're to blame a woman.
That's what I'm saying. So they're just like they're looking
she's
at it
just
like
the face of their anger.
exactly. They're like, well, we
Exactly.
can't get another one in because look what the last one did.
So I'm just like waiting for how that's gonna fold out in the States.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, we just wait. And
That's why I'm glad to be Canadian because we had a gay woman in like the 80s and she was cool. Everyone was chill. It was all right. Like,
I guess looking historically, you can say that if it happened this way here, it can happen this way again here. However, these are two separate places, and like the behavior of the people are different, economic status, everything.
cultural identity.
Right? Everything is so different. So we just might be able to manage in like, I don't know, because I think in Turkey, it's probably a smaller country as opposed to the United States. And
Sure.
the United States has so much that we will eventually balance each other out, I guess, as far as like being able to. So the thing I do admire about our system, it's a bipartisan party. It's not just one, right? So it applies both parties, and anything that can structure the government to be well. Anyways, this is why I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah, we
Like,
keep slipping into it.
Yeah,
Take
no.
the reins.
So here, check this out, because no matter what you talk to, sometimes it goes all the way back to that.
I blame you,
It
Paul.
does.
You brought us back.
Yeah, it's systemically our country is messed up, and it's and everything's ingrained in and everything. You can't talk about race without talking about religion, without talking about politics.
Can I tell you what hurts the most is when people who you think are friends, they will cut you off because, well, okay, for one, I'm going to say this because I know who the fuck I am. I'm a Christian. And when people find out I'm a Christian and they cut me off, I'm like, you think you're doing yourself a favor? You're doing me a favor. But why would you hate me? Because I have faith.
Right.
oh,
You know
people
what I mean?
people cut you off because you have a religion.
Because I'm a Christian, and then I guess all the stigma that comes with being a
Oh,
Christian.
they're
But guess
just-
what? I'm also a Filipino, a 45-year-old woman with 4 kids. I'm all the other things that apply. I'm not. You know,
It's just it's so shallow and ultimately it's just shallow because when people cut out like someone who may be Christian in their life or whatever, it's like Lord knows that for any other kind of person that may be like a fundamental religious person, they're not also going to cut them out. It's like, why are you specifically
thank you. Only yeah.
it's
like
like,
that's hella like I you'd rather have a
like specifically for like some, I'm not even gonna name religions, but like some religions in this world, you will be publicly executed for being gay, and it's like they won't cut those people out of their lives.
So
That's no problem for them.
I just remember like joining the military and like going to church was a big basic training, tech school. You're in training and it's miserable. And church is like a reprieve. So I was like, okay, what church am I gonna go to? Catholic or Christian?
No. Isn't it God's house?
It is. Actually it's 2 hours away from the
God's
barracks.
house.
That's what it was. So I went to both.
That's real faith right there.
I went to both. So I'm like,
Both.
yeah,
I have a church
if I could
story.
go to as much as I can.
You are Filipino.
When I
Every time you go by a church, do you do the?
When I
I
first
used to.
started to learn how to play bass, a buddy of mine said he got really, really fast and good by playing in his church band.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm walking the dog out attached to this park. I hear like groovy church services going on. So I waited till the service is over. Everything is said and done. They're packing it in. I approached the band and I introduced myself. I said, "Hey, I'm Engin. I'm playing bass. I see your ensemble doesn't have bass. Would you consider it?" In the meantime, these like buff, skinhead looking dudes, black
Leather
black muscle
jackets.
shirts that says Jesus on their chest, just
Oh.
like surround me. And I'm watching this going.
Is this God's bodyguards? Wait, hold on.
Yeah. And so as I'm trying to convince the band to take me in, the girl goes, "Do you know Jesus?" I said, if you guys have chord charts, I can keep up. I'm that good. And then one of the big dudes goes, "That's not what she means."
Oh, are you saved?
And then yeah. And then we prefer
don't play with
that
Buddhists.
people believe in Jesus to lead our
Oh yeah.
lead our services. I'm like, lead? Nobody wants to lead. I'm a bass player,
Yeah.
number one. And then, but if that all it takes, yeah, I know Jesus. He goes, "How do you know Jesus?" I'm like, "I'm Muslim."
Yeah.
You have to believe in
Yeah.
all prophets to be
That's right.
a Muslim.
Did they? They didn't let you in, did they?
No.
No. That didn't work.
That was
Well, that is the punchline.
right. Yeah.
That was
Like,
hilarious.
I believe in Jesus. Can I be on the band now?
Honestly though, I almost converted to Islam for a girl once, and
Oh my god.
well, I did a lot of research. I was a
What
young.
did you find out?
Anything to get her into bed.
What
I got
was
you,
the
Colin.
what was the appeal?
Okay, well, the appeal. Well, honestly, we had a really good connection and everything. That was fine. But ultimately, the straw that broke the camel's back. I read a passage that said, from ages 9 to 99, you have to submit to circumcision. So I said, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh.
I can't.
From age 9 to 99.
It's something like that. It's like if you are Muslim,
you
you
come
must.
in the game like that, so that's why it didn't happen. That's like in Turkey. Like I came to the States, and when I found out that circumcision
Oh, they do that even if
either
you're.
is an issue or it bothers people, way late in the game. Like I was at least like 5-6 years in the country, and I come across this thing, and this person was complaining about how he was circumcised as a baby, how perhaps he lost some sensation down there. His parents didn't ask for his consent. I'm like, dude, you could speak. And then he turns around. I spent about 10 days with this person at an event. We're all volunteering. Finally, it's my turn. He goes, "Engin, what do you think about circumcision?" So I'm like, "Oh dear." I'm like, "Look, I was circumcised, but I don't share the same sentiment." He goes, "You're circumcised. Why are you so chipper?"
Why aren't you
I'm like,
a
"Well,
miserable pile?
Listen, the presentation of the circumcision was amazing for me. He goes, "What are you talking about?" Like, listen, it's a 2-week party, number one. I got like 5 sets of suits. Like, I looked like a little pimp. I had a cape. I had a cane. I had a crown. I'm being driven around in a convertible wherever I
Like
go
a little
for 2
baby
weeks. Yeah.
Popemobile.
I'm a king. I'm a king for 2 weeks, and then
And then they chop your dick off.
and then I'm like, look, like till you mentioned your angle, I have not thought about this, and I have fucking memories with my foreskin.
How old were you?
You never met your
This was,
foreskin.
yeah, this
How
is
old were
like
you?
a bar mitzvah kind of
How
event.
old I was like 10.
Because that's
So-
the thing. Because I
Is that
worked
what
with a
it is?
Filipino
It's too
guy.
late. It was considered too late.
Oh,
Because that's what I'm saying. I heard like in the Philippines at like 10, 13. That's like the rite of passage.
have
Because I worked a
Yeah.
guy who like he was from like a smaller
That's
like.
when you put it on the chopping board.
He said literally like they go to the doctor, they do it in a big group of guys. They get all the boys from the village,
Gotcha.
and then they run into the ocean to like sanitize it.
Oh
Does that ring a bell?
no, I'm born and raised
That sounds
here.
like
Sorry.
an urban myth.
You
but-
decided to
Hey,
Americanize.
Does that remind you of your circumcision?
You know, I was not
No.
circumcised. I had no choice in the
Nah,
matter.
it's fascinating. It's well, hey,
I think in this
you
in-
need to be circumcised in order to be a Muslim. Call yourself a Muslim. You need to be circumcised. That's the thing. So as well as Jewish.
yeah.
But it's almost cruel to do it past the age of
Of
not
course.
remembering.
Well, no. If anything, I say that's better because that's more like again in this country, it's like my body, my choice. Let the kid decide. Let him choose if he wants to be Jewish.
At the age of 20, what?
25.
25?
25, yeah.
25.
Yeah.
It's a great sign of commitment too.
Damn straight.
Just
For a
like,
girl?
I don't see a ring on this finger.
yeah.
If I'm cutting off a piece of my dick, it
Yeah.
better be like
Yeah.
long term.
I better get at least 5 more years of.
You better
being
touch
single
it
with you.
at least once.
Oh
I want a
my
couple kids.
God. Wait, stop. Did you just turn 25 recently?
November.
Were you the one at OMG? I was like, make sure you get your insurance because at the age of 25, you get your insurance knocked down. But anyways, every time I meet a 25-year-old, I'm like, your brain is fully developed. The
Yes.
insurance will give you a lower rate.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. Did you? But
I
do you
can't
have
drive.
a car?
No,
Oh, okay. So it does no good for you now.
I never learned how to drive. That's something I
Wow.
know. I'm American now. I have to do
Do you
that.
live in the city?
I do.
Okay, you're fine.
I know, but it's such a
Yeah.
like if I go on a date or something, they're like, "Oh, can you drive?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh,
No.
I'm a grown
Such
ass man.
Just
take
I'll-
dry.
It's
We'll
okay.
take an Uber.
No, I
I'll
get
meet you
it.
down at the city bike rack.
Exactly. Can I use your phone? I don't have data.
It's one of those things that you have to learn. Okay, so of my 4
I have
children, 3 of them have licenses. And that means that we've invested time in teaching them how to drive,
Mhm.
which is very scary,
Mhm.
and actually investing into vehicles for them.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing. Oh my God, and getting insurance. Like the insurance not just doubles, it like
Do you have boys, girls?
Yeah.
so I have my son is my oldest. He's 23, and then I have
Damn.
3 girls, 22, 18, and 5 years old. So the 5-year-old is the one that's not driving right now.
So you had to teach how to drive, right? You had to teach kids how to drive.
Yeah. I had to
How about
teach
you
them.
guys? Well,
Not yet.
I taught my kids how to drive wherever they are.
they are young kids. They're swimmers.
They'll
Those guys.
they'll find me when I'm 18 or when they're 18.
I have another 8 years before I do that.
Are you ready? Oh my God, you got to mentally prepare yourself for that because it's scary as fuck.
Oh, I'm gonna get her something beat up, and then here we go.
Give you a little recommendation.
Go for
Before
it.
you actually put them behind the wheel of your car, even if it's in a parking lot, my thought is they need to know how to do a couple things outside the car before they get in the car. One is check fluids
Yeah, that's a
and
start.
change a tire.
Or at least understand
Okay,
that
Change a tire.
Okay. Yeah.
they need to at least understand that they're in a machine, and that in order for that machine to work properly, it has to be taken care of. So there's a lot of responsibility behind it. So
Like spatial awareness and
yeah,
all that.
my first car was a Buick Regal.
Okay.
And the temperature used to run high, so I would have to put water in. It was an 81 Buick Regal.
Okay.
So
Did you
long-
carry water jugs in the back?
Yes. Because every time it smoked, I had to pull over and put water in
Fucking
it.
hell.
Well, one time I was driving on the freeway, and then I was like, "What is that smoke coming from the passenger side under the floorboard?"
Jesus
So
Christ.
I was 18. I just graduated high school. I'm getting ready to leave for the military, and I fucking parked in. I went to a gas station. I went to a gas station because I was like, I need help. And they're like, why the fuck did you bring your car on fire to the gas station?
Oh.
So they got the
True. Yeah. No, actually, no. It took me a second. I had to think about that. But fire and gas station. That's not.
but my thing was whenever my car smokes up, I go to the gas station, pull over, put some water in it. This time it was on fire. They were like, pop your hood. I was so nervous. I popped the trunk. So they brought the jaws of life, and they opened the hood of the Buick, which back then cars were made out of.
Steel.
Proper material.
Steel.
Yeah.
Is this like
it's-
before crumple zones and
Yes, it was first. It was
a
like
death trap?
they had to use the jaws of life to just pry the latch open.
What do you mean? Like you couldn't pop it, or there was no? I don't-
So I didn't pop the right thing. I was hella nervous. I popped the trunk. I
Right,
didn't
right.
pop the hood, so the latch was still hooked, and they were prying it with the jaws of life. But they had to use the jaws of life to get it open.
So you're not driving that car anymore.
No, that died there. That died there. Parked and then towed, and it was
shot
fine.
Just melted away.
Dude, that was in 1997.
It's before I was born.
What's the worst car you ever had, JoMama? Was that the Regal?
No, that was my favoriteest car.
That was your favorite?
Sometimes the worst car you have, like one of my favorite car was the Toyota that didn't have reverse.
Oh.
And so, and you could also push it around with it. You could Fred Flintstone put your foot outside.
Oh my
and
God.
back into parking spots because you had to.
They
And
do.
so some of those things-
Did you have to do hand signals too and all
Yeah.
that fucking thing?
You,
No
you should know
floorboards.
your hand
Is
signals.
oh, I know my hand signals, but just to build off what Paul was saying with your favorite car being the worst one, can you apply that to your children?
Yeah, but I try not to tell that story unless I'm on
Nope.
stage in front of a live studio audience.
You don't ever want to like admit those things, because now that they're old enough to like reply.
Now that they're old enough to listen to podcasts.
Now that they're old enough to tag me on social media, not cool at all.
Okay, first of
Now
all,
that
my
they're old enough to
toddler
cancel
asked
me.
for a clip of my comedy, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
What are they teaching those kids? What the
So,
fuck?
but she's the only one interested because all my little kids are like, "Ew."
My daughter influenced me to move my entire act to clean.
Oh,
That's cute.
So I'm still telling the
That's
same.
That is. I
I'm still
need
telling the
to.
same stories. Like the stories are still there. It's just
You have to
Just
clean them
don't-
up.
Instead of saying jerking
just
off,
don't-
you say spank the monkey.
I just or other way around. Other way around. And jerking off is somewhat.
So you can always tell even a risque story in a
Cleanish.
clean
How
way.
about
Instead of blue,
Cleanish.
comedy, it's like
Cleanish.
turquoise.
First time I did my first clean set, I came home. I said, "Babe, I did a clean set," and then she goes, "You didn't tell anyone to shut up?" I'm like, "No,
I didn't say
Oh,
that.
That's not clean. That's,
no."
you're still Turkish.
I did a show in front of 250 people, and there was this drunk heckler lady, and she talked. I was the fourth comic going up that night, and she talked to every comic ahead of me, and it was good 3 minutes into it. I said, "All right, I think she's gonna behave."
You're winding down.
I said something, wah, wah. And I just looked at her and I said, "You know what? You've been talking too much." And the crowd just erupted. And then I said, "Well, this round of applause means shut the fuck up." The crowd just went nuts. Now.
Oh,
The
that's
crowd
why you
hated
guys.
Oh, they
it.
love you now.
Oh,
Yeah, you're-
And then she didn't
Wrapped
say
around your
anything.
finger.
Whoop. She didn't say anything after that. But my daughter witnessed that.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
saw that.
Yeah,
That's
because
great,
it was like at a resort clubby thing, so I just brought her with me. I didn't know she had her head out the like green room checking out what was going on.
Did she walk?
Um,
Did she walk out?
No.
No.
Heckler. She just shut up.
no.
Shut up.
Okay,
Those are all bad words, Dad.
that's very honest because I was thinking about like there's gonna be a point where I'm gonna have my daughters for the. So right now, my family is back in Texas, and we're going through all this time where I'm gonna have my daughters for the summer, and I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? I'm gonna let my daughter sit here while I interview comics who will say God knows what,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
You pretty much picked us up from Craigslist.
Right? Okay,
Right.
bacon, and like
Craigslist of comedy.
there's not enough headphones to cover her from like accidentally hearing just a little slip up. So I'm like, damn, you know, I might have to revisit my approach to comedy when I have my daughter with me. Like, I don't think I want to expose her to all of the things that I'm hearing.
What that really reminds me of going back to Russell Peters. Some person brought their kid to like the front row of some set he was doing, and he's just like, "Well, kid's gonna learn some shit tonight."
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, and then your child is like
Why
the
would you bring your kid to a comedy? Not you, but like to like that show. But fuck it, I saw so much shit growing up. I'm fine. I turned out all right.
Yeah, I'm raising my daughter the way my parents raised me.
okay, as a parent, yeah,
Beatings?
that's right. No, we're learning. We're learning as we go.
the morale improves.
There we go. Yeah.
We're learning as we
Meetings will
go.
continue.
The beatings. We're learning as we go. No, because my mother raised me too, and she was an entertainer. She was a singer. She was a lounge singer. So every time and I would be that kid that was in the band room or like in the lounge, and as a kid. So that's why now when I go to bars, I just act like I'm at home because I'm like I know how to sit on a bar stool and like that's how I navigate real well. But anyways, my mom exposed me to a lot of things at a young age, and I'm just like, oh my god, am I ready to do that to my youngest, my last child?
Where you see it fit. Like I've been a single dad for a bit, so it's if I can bring her, I bring her.
It's hella different. Okay,
You
so
know, and like just go ahead, like figure it out, make the most out of this. This will be soon over, and
Yeah.
we'll go home.
that's true. I
Like-
was domesticated for too
Because that's
long.
how I was raised. My parents took me everywhere.
Well,
If I needed to sleep, they would make her a little makeshift
Yeah,
bed.
makeshift, right?
You just crawl up there,
For me growing up, some of my earliest
wake up in
memories.
your bed.
Honestly, some of my earliest memories are my mom would be telling, because I had single mother too growing up.
All right.
My mom would be telling me to go to.
Too.
Oh, right on. Trauma. Now, my mom would say, get ready to go to bed, and I would run and put my little shoes on because that meant going to like the babysitter's house or something because she had to go work nights and stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
So I get it, like just having to go
My
places.
dog does that. When I put my shoes on, he goes into the kennel.
And he's like,
Oh.
oh, it's time. Yeah. Conditioned. Yeah, kids get conditioned too.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. Parents are conditioned.
They
as well.
follow the pattern. So like it's crazy. This is what we're doing now.
But I guess also since this is my last one of 4 kids, that's a lot,
Mhm.
Four
and
kids is a lot.
having for the 3 that I raised I was married for 18 years, so that was a greater part of my life that I was really like a suburban mom, work, school, all that stuff. And then here I am, a single woman back in the city that I was born in, I came from, and having split custody with my ex, I'm like, what do I do with my time? It's like,
You do this.
I know, comedy, podcast.
It feels like you're on like
karaoke.
an HBO show. It feels like your plot right now.
Is that my plot?
I like it.
Can I
Single
get
mom
some
in the
of
city
that?
doing comedy. I like it.
I am JoMama. But I want to say I started doing comedy, and then my marriage failed.
Was it the comedy?
I started September 27th comedy. By October 27th, I was leaving Texas.
So you think it influenced it?
To,
Correct.
to be honest, like being a comic, I'm new to being a comic, but I wouldn't marry a comic either. I'd divorce.
Okay, I think I became a very different person because all of a sudden I became honest with my words and unapologetically like funny.
Mhm.
And he was like, I don't like this. Or it was
Yeah,
annoying.
if in the partnership, if one partner is not comfortable with the truth, it's you don't have to be a comic for that relationship.
It's
not to-
inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If one person is all about the truth and the other one is like, let's just
Or maybe
shove everything under the rug,
even some kind of like God, I can't
share
think of the
your
word.
wisdom
Just
with
a
us.
some sort of fuck me. I can't think of that. There's a big there's a
Build
there's
that half sentence for me.
there's a
Do it. For him either.
Do it.
I need the horse blinders straight up.
Word is fuck. But I'm glad you invited all the bastard children here. Me too. So go ahead.
I guess this is America, so where's the gun? Shoot myself. No,
Not
but
yet, not yet.
there's a getting into a relationship, or whatever. You start off marrying somebody. I could definitely see maybe your partner not understanding that paradigm shift into being, because everyone changes after so many decades. Like your cells in your body are completely different when you're a kid.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's like he might not have married a comedian, and it might not have been. I'm not saying that's like good. I'm not trying to give you marriage advice. I'm sorry.
No.
Kind of even- and kind of
okay, I'm
even
going
like
through a
with
divorce.
it was kind of the end of your marriage, but it was also the end of me raising young kids. I was afraid of having really young kids and then not being able to let loose. But as soon as they hit of age, I'm like, I'm off and running.
Yeah, it's just hard. Going through a divorce is not easy, especially having been married for almost
18
2
years,
decades.
that's-
18
yeah,
years.
That's a lot of time.
that's a lot of dedication.
What
and
broke the camel's back?
comedy,
comedy,
I
yeah.
think that's what it was.
What he said,
Said
you're
the guy
spending
from
too
Turkey.
much time with.
Well, I know that once I
Right?
started doing open mics, I did 4 open mics my first week. And then he was like, whoa, we got to slow it down because it's taking away time from the kids. And I'm like, I get it. But here in my mind, I'm thinking, I can do this on my own. You could just let me go. But he's like, no,
Oh, he was coming with you?
Yeah, he was.
Is he?
Oh,
a
that's too
comic?
much. No, because like
No, he's not a comic. He was just very overprotective. As
What
it
were your
turns
jokes
out,
about? Were they about life?
Him.
Were they
Peanuts,
about
small
food?
peanuts.
Were they-
my husband's got a tiny dick.
it was just about life. But see here, this is what I thought. He was my best friend and that he was
Mhm.
like my main guy. But it turns out that he was just very overprotective about me, and he just didn't like me doing anything outside of.
He
like-
loved you.
Not your partner in crime, but more of like a shepherd.
So I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that he was that protective. But the problem with that was he wasn't good to me. He was outside of the marriage looking for other things, and not being and expecting me to be good to him. But you can't expect somebody to be good to you if you're not good to them.
Mhm.
So, anyways, that's what happened. It just fell apart because, as it turns out, he was never really faithful to me. So, and then here I am, like faithful, but then also faithful to myself at some point where I become honest, and he just didn't. He couldn't.
It happens.
It was annoying.
It happens.
Yeah.
One day.
But I'm a whole new Adam. What is this cell of?
I don't
body
know.
of cells?
I forget. I don't remember anything I say like 20 minutes ago.
No,
don't
you were
remember what I
talking
had for
about how
breakfast.
We're like
It's-
replenishing our
So-
ourselves.
No, honestly, yeah, though, like
With
every
all
like
that,
11 years or
I
something.
come from a family where I watched my mom be next to my dad till his last breath. 45 years.
Through all
Damn.
of the
And
strife.
I'm telling you, it was not smooth sailing. So like
course.
when some in my relationships, when people go like, why are you raising your voice? Or when like, or the topic gets a little heated or there's passion behind some of the words. It's just like, why are you doing this again? I'm like, this is too much for you. This is too much. I've seen things that took place between my parents.
Mhm.
You would think like, why are these two together? But
Why isn't he behind bars?